New York Session live stream. So today in New York Session, all right. So off of live stream, I have taken two trades in GBP Both these trades were of sell, and basically I won around 14 pips on first trade, and I lost the same on second trade. And basically, I should have waited for more confirmations that these trades were not right. The last trade, the third trade that I took wasn't a very good trade, and I basically didn't manage my risk, and I have lost on that trade. But I should have managed my risk so that my winners can look bigger, and yeah, for and now we will wait. We will wait in gold and in GBP to get some good trades. In gold, our bias was buys in gold, but we didn't get any good information. But we didn't get to execute these trades. We may execute these. Uh, we may execute in New York session, but it all depends if we find some good trades. And in GBP/JPY, if we look at, we are just consolidating. We need to break outside of this zone to potentially execute a trade in GBP/JPY. For now, we are just waiting, and in 2 minutes, New York session will open. All right, we will look at this area from by scrolling left. All right, this has a clean move of 160 pips. Yeah, man. And we are consolidating in this area. H4 trend is heavily bullish if we look at it. So we can potentially keep pushing up, but we want more confirmations. And first of all, we need to break outside of this range. If we break below, there is a clean range of 34 pips, and if we break above, there is a clean range of 160 pips. So we need to wait at this point. If we look at H4, the H4 trend is bearish in GBP/JPY. That's why I executed two shots, but that didn't play out. I may execute another shot, but I want more confirmation for that first. And in the gold, we are just waiting for prices to break outside of the zone, either break above or either break below. And H1 candles have closed, and H1 candle has closed bullish in gold. So now we are just consolidating. There were good opportunities in London session. We took advantage of those opportunities. But for now, we are just waiting. Even if we break above this area, we can potentially move 44 more pips up. And I will execute a trade above 162 area by placing a stop loss of 18 pips. But but I am also keeping in mind that the trend is bearish. So we'll see what will happen. We are just waiting and we are just consolidating at this point. And in the meantime, waiting for candles to close. In my opinion, we will find very good trades after NYC open. So we need to wait for at least 2 hours, and in 2 hours we can find some good trades, and I am very confident about that. Alright, we are breaking below this area. The whole reason I may avoid this trade is because of the fact that we have been dropping, is because of the fact that the trend is bullish in H4 time frame. That's my whole reason to avoid this trade, because I am anticipating we will get better buy entries later on. So you see we have rejected back inside the range, because I knew from higher time frame that the trend is bullish, so it makes sense to just execute trades based on our bias. We are just waiting in gold and in GBP JPY. In in 8 minutes from now, Comet Comics will open in gold, and then maybe we can find some trades. For now, we are just waiting. And in GBP JPY, we are just consolidating. The trend is bearish, so I am anticipating we will get some short trades in GBP JPY. Alright, the Comet Comics volume will come in 4 minutes. We are waiting for that volume. If the current 15-minute candle wicks low first and starts to start pushing to break above the zone, then I may execute buys, but I want more confirmations at this point. And waiting for Comet Comics volume. Let's see what that Comet Comics volume will do. Comet Comics volume will open in 2 minutes. Alright, this is Comet Comics candle, the current M5 candle, and yeah, there is very high probability at this point that we will continue pushing up, and I will execute on this trade, and I am ready to manage my risk in M5 time frame. So we are just waiting at this point. If we break this M5 low, I will close 50% of my position. And yes, we are ready to. The whole reason why I am executing on this trade is because we have now a clean range of 150 pips, and I believe that there is very high probability for prices to keep pushing up. On the other hand, I am also ready to manage my risk if things go against me. Oh no, man. Alright, I have closed most of my position in here, and lost around 9 US dollar on this trade. Now we will wait for candles to close. At this point I will close everything because it is just a no-brainer to hold on in this trade. Waiting in GBP JPY and in gold. Lost around 11 US dollar on this trade, and yes, we are just waiting. This M30 candle is very volatile candle. It first break below the lows and then it break above the highs. So we are just waiting for M30 candle to close in 5 minutes. And in GBP JPY we are consolidating in this 35 pips of range. We will just wait at this point and We may get some good trades at NYSE Open. Other than that, we will just call it a day. At this point, we are just consolidating and we are waiting for candles to break either above or below the zone so that we can execute a trade. Alright, M30 candles have closed. The previous M30 candle has closed a high volatile candle. It gave it gave us basically no indication where prices can move, and just by looking at higher time frame, we have a bias. We are bullish in gold because we are trending up and almost 160 pips above from this area. There is a strong rejection area of 1780 area, 1790 area. So that's why I gave my trade a chance for buys. I gave two chances for buys, but I basically just got unlucky. I was unable to capture these big moves. So we'll see if we can find some good trades later on. We have moved all the way down almost 17 pips in first 1 minute of this M15 candle. I will give my bias a one more chance in gold for buys. Other than that, I will just call it a day. In GBP JPY, our bias is short, sells, but we are just consolidating in this 35 pip range. We need to break above this range or below this range to potentially continue pushing. Yeah, in gold we have broken below the previous two candle lows, and this is a 30 pip move in gold in just 2 minutes, and I will basically wait for buy trades only in gold. I already took around 4 trades today, and I am basically at break even so far. But once these I have taken these 2 trades, I was up about 1.3% on my account. I should have called it a day and end the day, but I fall into the category of over trading, which ate up all my profits. So this is the way things are. We are dropping in gold with so much volume, but I want to see how current 15-minute candle will close. And yeah, then maybe we can find some trade. Other than that, we will not execute. I am just waiting for buys above 1774 area. So we have approached that zone at 1767 area, and we are just waiting at this point. I need to do basically 160 losing trades to do this account. 160 losing trades in a row to blow this account, which is pretty good in my opinion. I'm using small risk. Waiting for M15 candle to close in 8 minutes, and H4 candle will also close in 23 minutes. So there is probability we will get some trades later on. If we look at H4 candle, we are still basically above 1767 area. We have a wick of around 63 pips, and there is very high probability that on next H4 candle we will fill this wick, and that's where I will execute buys and potentially secure some profits. But for now we are just waiting. If we look at GJ, in GJ our bias is of sells, and the current H4 candle is about to close like a bearish candle, and there is probability we will get some trade later on. We if we need to break this below this area 161.600 area to potentially execute short position of 45 pips. So it will be a long wait game at this point. JPY is in consolidation at this point. Still our bias is sells. We can get some trade later on, but it seems like we will just consolidate in here. And in gold we are waiting for candle to close. This is a 60 pip move on one M15 candle. We are just waiting. The H4 candle has rejected all the way down, which is a good sign. If we close above 1767 area on next H4 candle, there will be a probability that we will fill this wick. But at this point, it makes sense to just wait. if we look left, there was an area of interest at 1771. We basically just rejected from that area, and yeah, we are just waiting. We need to wait for 17 more minutes in H4 candle to close. Alright, 15-minute candle has closed. It has closed below 1767 area, and in 15 minute H4 candle will close. So we are just waiting. The H4 candle in GBP JPY has flipped bullish. We need to wait for 15 more minutes to see how current H4 candles will close, and we may execute after that. Waiting in gold and in GBP JPY, we need to wait for 12 more minutes. Alright, I was anticipating this thing because this is where we can execute. H4 candle have again flipped bullish and above 1767 area. We are waiting for candles to close. 7 more minutes left in 4-hour candle to close. Four minutes left in 4-hour candles to close, and we are basically getting what we were anticipating. So yeah, we need to wait for 4 more minutes. And just waiting at this point. Waiting in GBP JPY, waiting in gold. If we look at GBP JPY in 4-hour time frame, the candle has flipped bearish. I was anticipating this candle, and we may get to execute shorts below 161.600 area for almost 40 pips of move. H4 candles are about to close in 1 minute. Gold is moving up, which is not a good sign for our buys because now stop loss will be way too big. So we are just waiting. And this candle in gold is huge. It is around 37 pips. I want Basically I wanted this candle to be small so that I can execute a buy by placing stop loss below the candle wick. And H4 candles at this point has closed. And if we look at in 4-hour time frame, the candle has closed above 1767 area. Now there is very high probability for current H4 candle to retest 1767 area first, create a lower wick first, and then starts pushing up to potentially fill 1774 wick. So we are just waiting. We are waiting for better execution. And if we look at GBP JPY, our whole bias was short because we were trending down. But I gave two chances to my trades, but those shorts didn't work out. So we need to break below the previous H4 candle low to potentially continue pushing down. Yeah, so I am looking for buys in gold and sells in GBP JPY. In 30-minute NYSE will open, and yeah, we may get to execute a trade at NYSE, and for now we are just waiting. Yeah, GBP JPY breaking, and we want at least one M15 candle to close in here, close below this area, and potentially execute shorts on next candle to potentially get this 42 pips in profits. Gold is moving up, but we haven't executed a trade. We need to wait for 12 more minutes for M15 candles to close. Waiting for current 15-minute candles to close in about 9 minutes. We need to wait for 7 more minutes. Just waiting for 7 more minutes. In GBP JPY, we have we need to wait for 6 more minutes. I am waiting for 15-minute candles to close. In 6 minutes, I may execute a trade. Just 6 more minutes. Actually, I wanted to execute a trade in gold, but we are moving up. We have moved around 60 pips up with so much volume, and stops at this point will be way huge. So we are just waiting for one more candle. 5 more minutes. Looks like we will miss a move in gold, although our anticipation was that we will fill this wick, but the whole idea is we didn't get a chance to execute in gold. It happens basically, it happens all the time when you knew that market gonna move in here, but you was unable to execute on that because it presented us with no patterns. We get like nothing in here. We moved up 70 pips straight with little to no retracement, and yeah, whenever I execute a trade, we start consolidating. This is happening basically from past month. Alright, 15-minute candles are about to close. In GBP JPY, we are rejecting back inside the range. Alright, 15-minute candles have closed. We want a lower wick first in this candle, and then we will execute buys. In GBP JPY, nothing. We broke outside of the range and closed back inside the range. So there is nothing in GBP JPY at this point. I will execute in gold if we sort of create a lower wick, and I will then execute buys in gold. If it doesn't create a lower wick, I will just call it a day. Yeah, gold is moving straight up. In H4, basically we are approaching a potential resistance in 10 pips, and this candle doesn't give us any chance to execute. So it is just a no-brainer at this point to execute a position. I guess we have just missed out. Nothing in GBP, JPY, and in gold at this point. We have also a news in uh, 40 minutes. ISM manufacturing PMI. We need to wait at this point. There is nothing. Waiting in gold and in GBP JPY, we need to break outside of this range to potentially execute a position. And in gold, I am anticipating bullish move, but We are just it seems like the bullish volume is dying because candle is moving up and down. Still, we will see how this M15 candle will close. Also, in 8 minutes, NYSE session will open. And if we look at GBP JPY, waiting for current 15-minute candle to close. Nothing special in GJ and in gold. Yeah, that was my whole reason to avoid this trade because only 10 pips left to fill the previous H4 wick. That's why I was reluctant to execute on this trade. And now we will wait for 5 more minutes. We are waiting for candles to close. We need to wait for 4 more minutes. Candles are about to close in 2 minutes, and all right, I will execute shorts once we started breaking below the low of previous candle by placing a stop of around 20 pips in GBP JPY and in gold. Nothing, man, nothing. After this M15 candle has closed like this, our analysis for buys has died in my opinion, because we have filled H4 wick. We already have achieved bullish target, and we need to break above this area 1774 to potentially execute buys, but at this point it is straightforward shorts. I will just hold on to this trade, GJ sells, and I will call it a day after that. Alright, our entry is now active. My initial stop is 16 US dollar, right in here above this M15 wick. And if we are to move down, I am not anticipating prices will move back inside the range again. If that happens, I will be flat. I will just exit everything, call it a day, and go home. थल्ले नहीं कोई? फिर यार खोल लो, अम्मी तो खड़े नहीं हो होता. Alright, trade is now 4-5 pips in profits. At this point, it makes sense to hold this trade for at least this area 161.200, and I will close everything if we break above current candle high. I will close everything, call it a day, and come back tomorrow for more trades. At this point I have closed 50% of my position because things are not going as I wanted them to go. Basically we have everything, we have volume, we have pattern, we have clean range to the left hand side, but still it seems like we are not interested in going down. We have bearish higher time frame trend, and it seems like it is just the probability of things not working out. Closed another 50% of my position. My initial stop loss was $15, and now if I lose my entire position I will be losing around 2 US dollars. Alright, at this point I will let this trade run. Either it will hit my stop loss around 10 pips or it will hit my TP. I will just head off at this point and I will see you guys later tomorrow. Tomorrow we may get some amazing trades, and let's hope for the best. And take care, have fun, and I will see you guys later tomorrow.